How's it going? Juris here with KnowledgeWell Media. Just wanted to jump on here real fast to discuss something that I contend is a very controversial topic, and a lot of misinformation is coming on the heels of the improper application of the quote-unquote application that we're going to be discussing here, and that is the Ds11 form. So we want to clear up, I always say that my intent, my purpose here at KnowledgeWell Media is to dispel the myths and to clear up any misconceptions and misunderstandings, for the protection of the people, so that no one finds themselves getting hemmed up like we've known or have heard of happening, by innocent people who are just trying to figure out their remedy, to try to find the ever elusive remedy. Okay. And so we want to dispel these myths. And so we're going to study today the application for a U.S. passport known as the Ds11 form. So apply it as you will. I mean, to throw no salt or anything like that. I'm not trying to discredit anybody, but this is a very important document, as you will see. And you can find yourself in some serious trouble if you are putting false or making false claims on this document, as you'll see. All right, so let's take a look at the Ds11 form. I'll zoom in here for you. Here, I'll try not to be before you terribly long, but I do want to make sure we give you detailed information so that you know exactly what you are involving yourself in, and then you can make the informed decision as to whether you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. All right. That's the least we can do as content providers. Okay, let me make sure I can get this all on the screen. I may have to go back just a little bit here. Yeah, let me go back one. Okay, here we go. So this is as you can see, the Ds11 form, U.S. Department of State application for a U.S. passport. Okay, now I always teach you here on this platform that all you have to do to find out whose products, whose items that you are in possession of or using, look at the descriptor in front of the item that you're using. So it's a passport application, but whose passport are you in pursuit of? And there's your answer. U.S. passport. That's who it belongs to. As you can see, this is expiration date for so April 30th, 2025. All right. And so it is very current. It's probably the most current. Okay. And so moving on, you can see here, it says, please, they're pleading with you. Please read the instructions first and type or print in black ink to complete this form. All right. So let's move on. Section A, eligibility. Eligibility, meaning if you are not meeting the prerequisites to follow, this is not for you, and you should not be using it because you are not eligible. Make sense? All right. So this form is used to apply for whose passport? A U.S. passport book and or card. Still belongs to the U.S. Okay. It's their property. It's a legal document. All right. And unless you are eligible, you should not be using it. So in person at an acceptance facility, a passport agency, right, by appointment only, or a U.S. embassy. See, it's the U.S.'s property. Okay. A consulate, a U.S. consulate, or consular agency if abroad. Okay. So a U.S. consular agency if abroad. All right. The tie that binds, the common denominator is the U.S. The U.S. passport is a travel document attesting to one's identity. What does identity mean in law? Sameness. All right. So the U.S. passport is the travel document attesting to what you are the same as. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I know the people that have been with me the longest, you know exactly what this implies and infers. I should probably don't even have to go any further for the people that have been around here. Identity means sameness in the law. So a U.S. passport is going to be used to prove that you are the same as what is the question. Moving on. Identity. And issued to who? U.S. citizens, their property, Makes sense, right? A U.S. passport and card would be issued to a U.S. citizen. But it doesn't stop there. Here comes the confusion. Or one or the other, non-citizen. This is what hangs up a lot of people because, well, in our particular demographic, because this is, you know, a lot of people are trying to establish that they are not a citizen for whatever intents and purposes they may personally or individually have. So they get tripped up because they see that there and think, oh, that gets me out of my predicament, as it were. But did you pay attention to what follows? U.S. national. So you might not be or want to be recognized as a citizen, but you're accepting, by filling out this application, the status of a U.S. citizen, a national, excuse me. This is important to grasp right here. Who's eligible? One of two classes or statuses of persons: a U.S. citizen or a U.S. national. To be eligible to use this form, you must apply in person if at least one of the following is true. I am applying, see, here's your eligibility. I am applying for my first, what kind of passport? U.S. passport. My previous U.S. passport was either issued under 16, etc., etc., right? So here's the eligibility. It's not very lengthy. It's not very long because it's pretty straightforward. Either a U.S. a U.S. citizen or a U.S. national. You have to make that decision. You have to make that choice. You have to know how to define it. You have to know what it means. Moving forward. If none of the above statements apply to you, then you may be eligible to apply using forms DS82 or DS5504, depending on your circumstances. Okay? We're not going to go into those forms. All right. One is about renewal of the passport, and I forget what the other one is, but we can get into that another time. They're not really important for these intents and purposes. Okay. I think I'm going to skip over this part here. It's not important for these intents and purposes either. Okay, let's go down. All right, we'll come back up to that. So here you are, U.S. Department of State, application for a U.S. passport. Section D talks about the attachments that you submit with this form as supporting documents. For what? Proof of U.S. citizenship. I really don't need to say anymore. Again, up here in the beginning, the very page one instructions here, right? It tells you who is eligible to use this form. Only U.S. citizens or U.S. nationals. One of two. Doesn't give you any other options. So if you use this form, by default, you are agreeing to being a U.S. citizen or U.S. national. Now, why is that important? Going back. Because not only are you admitting to that status or those statuses, now you're about to double down and prove that you are a U.S. citizen. How? By submitting supporting documents, or AKA evidences or proofs, right? How can you prove that you are a citizen? What are they looking for at the U.S. Department of State? Huh? They're looking for you to attach to this form. Look, applicants born in the United States, your evidence will be returned to you if it is not damaged, altered, or forged. Submit an original or certified copy and a photocopy of the front and back if there is printed information on the back of one of the following documents. So here are the documents to prove you as the applicant are a U.S. citizenship, or excuse me, have U.S. citizenship. Huh? Look, here's one, the U.S. birth certificate. You got to submit these documents. What does it say? How many of these documents? One of the following documents. So one of these, the black bullet right here. So we're in this window 1. So you submit one of these as proof of U.S. citizenship. Because in order to fill out this application, this is what you have to prove. It didn't say a foreign citizenship, did it? No, it's saying, number 1, this whole, 2 boxes here side by side. It only has one request for a particular type of citizenship, and that is U.S. citizenship. So this is how you can do it. Number 1, you could use a U.S. birth certificate. Why is that important? How do you get a U.S. birth certificate? Let's take a look. Let's go to the POMS manual. Been here many a times. And I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. Why? Here's the U.S. birth certificate. Isn't it funny that it's using the same verbiage because it's all legalese. It's all words of art. Look, what's it saying about it? It's the evidence of a legal name. That's what the birth certificate is. In general, a U.S.-born person's legal name is the name shown on his or her U.S. birth certificate. So where is the legal name found? On a U.S.-born person's birth certificate. Why is that important? Because a legal name is used to sign legal documents, deeds, or contracts. It's used in commerce. You have the birth certificate for commercial purposes. Where am I? I lost my place. Here we go. Back to the DS11. So what they're saying is, this is one way that you can prove or provide proof of U.S. citizenship. So if the birth certificate here contains the legal name, right? Evidence of the legal name, it's found where? On a U.S. birth certificate. And then they're turning around and saying that this is proof of U.S. citizenship, then wouldn't U.S. citizenship be one and the same with the legal name? If the evidence of the legal name is found on the U.S. birth certificate, and they're saying you can use the U.S. birth certificate as proof of U.S. citizenship, wouldn't the legal name be U.S. citizenship? The second thing you can use, fully valid, undamaged U.S. passport. So if you already went through this process, see this process, this DS11 form is to apply for a passport. So they're saying if you've already done that process and you have an expired one, you can use that because you've already gone through this process. You've already proved that you're a U.S. citizen. How about, excuse me, a consular report of birth abroad or certification of birth abroad. So this is a U.S. Citizen that was born abroad, but they're still a U.S. citizen. Certificate of naturalization or citizenship. You can use the certificate of naturalization or citizenship, duh. Or secondary documents may be submitted if the U.S. birth certificate was filed more than 1 year after your birth, or if no birth record exists. For no birth record on file, submit a registrar's letter to that effect. For both scenarios, submit a combination of the evidence listed below with your first and last name, which, what did we learn about that? What's a first and last name? Why are they requesting that? Because over here at the POMS manual, again, they tell you a legal name consists of what? A first name and last name. These are legal attornments, legal words of art, terms of art. See, so what they're trying to get you to do in a nutshell is to use their legalese, their legal instruments, to indict yourself as being one with, or the same as, or identified with the legal name, which is U.S. citizenship, which is found, the legal name is found where? On the U.S., his or her U.S. birth certificate. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Moving on. Listen, on the other side of this window here, number one, this is for applicants born outside the United States, but you're still a United States citizen. They're still saying prove that you are a United States citizen, even though you're born abroad. Look, if we determine that you are a U.S. citizen, see, it is not giving you an option for any other status, any other citizenship. This is all about United States citizens or United States nationals. I'm going to prove it to you even further. Your lawful permanent resident card submitted with this application will be forwarded to U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. This is only for United States citizens and U.S. nationals. Claiming citizenship through naturalization of one or both parents, submit all the following. Boom. Claiming citizenship. What citizenship? United States citizenship through birth abroad to at least one U.S. citizen parent. See? You're just proving that you're a United States citizen. Claiming citizenship through adoption by a U.S. parent. Booyah. You're still a citizen. You got it? Okay. There. I think I proved that. This application has to do with, you must prove that you're a United States citizen. All right? Going to number 2. Here's proof of identity. What does identity mean in law? Once again, sameness. Information can be found at travel.state.gov/identification. Present your original identification and submit a front and back photocopy with this form. It must show a photograph that is a good likeness of you. Examples include, here's what you can use to prove what or whom you are the same as. That's what you're doing. Number 1 is proof of who you are aligned with or in allegiance to, the United States, right? As a United States citizen. Now, you're going to prove that you are the same as what? Well, let's look at the proofs of identity. What you can use, in other words, to establish who you are the same as or what you are the same as in this case. I'm going to show you. They're saying, as proof of identity, you can use a driver's license. You can use a previous or current U.S. passport book or card. No kidding, because you've already established that you are a United States citizen. So you can use it once again. Right here it says, fully valid, undamaged U.S. passport. It may be expired because you've already gone through the aforementioned process. You've already established you're a United States citizen. Do you get it? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Look. You can also use a military identification. Well, no duh. How are you going to serve in the United States military if you're not a United States citizen? Duh. Look, federal, state, or city government employee identification, because you're an employee of the government, whether the state, the city, or federal. It's all U.S. entity. So if you're an employee, you have to be a citizen of the United States. No duh, right? Look, certificate of naturalization. Well, no duh, right? Or citizenship. So you're sold up there. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. Let's fast forward past this photograph part. You already know about that pretty much. Okay, now part 4, you're going to further, you are providing, you know how the scripture says in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word is established. You are providing 3 to 4 to 5 times the evidence that you are a citizen, that you are the same as the legal entity, the legal name. You're providing all the information in indictment against yourself. You're incriminating yourself, as it were, which is actually, you're not supposed to be able to self-criminate. Anyways, then number 4, proof of parental relationship. This is for applicants, under 16, so we'll disregard. 16 to 17, so we'll disregard. Fees, we'll disregard. How to submit this form, let's see. Okay, see? Submitting your form depends on your location and how soon you need your passport. So applicant located inside the United States, well, you're only inside the United States if you have a particular status. Applicants located outside the United States, yes, because you were born abroad and you're applying as a United States citizen or a national. We've established that up already. Okay. Let's see what else we got in here for you. Now, I want to go over this warning here because this is how I started off. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. Because a lot of us, a lot of you, I have to say, because I have not played around in this at all. At all. Listen, false statements made knowingly and willfully in passport applications, including affidavits or other documents submitted to support this application, are punishable by fine or imprisonment under U.S. law. Whose law? Because whose property is it? Including the provisions of 18 U.S.C. You'll have to check into that. I don't got time to go into that. And or 18 U.S.C. 1621. Alteration or mutilation of a passport issued pursuant to this application is punishable by fine or imprisonment. The use of a passport in violation of the restrictions contained herein or of passport regulations is punishable by fine and or imprisonment under 18 U.S.C. 1544. All statements and documents are subject to verification. Okay? Failure to provide information requested on this form, including your social security number, may result in significant processing delays and or the denial of your application. Okay? So I just want to state that just because you received a card or a passport, okay, book, does not mean that they have necessarily verified everything yet. That's not the way the system works. Okay? They don't have time to verify every single document, every single application. You may find, just like the IRS, right? The wheels of justice, they turn very slow, like a ship. Okay? It takes a long time for a ship to make a 180. Okay? And so just because you were issued it, as one of the underlings did not do their checks and balances, did not ask their supervisor a question because they had too many documents on their desk one particular day and they just passed it through. Okay, it was never validated, it was never verified. So you may find later on that once they do that verification process, that in fact they pull it and they may come after you later, okay, trying to fine you or imprison you. Listen, once again, all statements, you see it right here, and documents are subject to verification. It does not say that all statements and documents are verified. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? All right. I'm just letting you know. Here's your warning. Failure to provide information requested on this form, including your social security number, may result in okay, we read that. Now, here's the interesting part I really want to make sure that we delve into. Acts or conditions. Now, I know we have talked about, or I have heard about, filling out an explanatory statement as it asks. It does say right here, a supplementary explanatory statement. But we have to look a little deeper. All right. All right. So if any of the below mentioned acts or conditions have been performed by or apply to the applicant, a supplementary explanatory statement under oath or affirmation by the applicant should be attached and made a part of this application. Now, I am aware that this has been changed. This is, again, the 2025 version, and they've removed what used to be there. I wish I had the older version. The older version, man, let's see. I don't know if I can find the older, let's see if I can just get lucky here. Older version DS11. Let's see if we can find it. So this is 2022, I think. Let's see. Nope, this is the same one. Let's back up. Let's see if we can find those changes that they've made. Here, wait. Yep, here, let's check it out. Now, I gotta have to zoom in for you. They changed things for the latest version. Okay, let's see where that. Let's see. Where are you at? Federal tax law, notice to free managers. Acts or conditions. Okay. If any of the below mentioned acts or conditions have been performed by or applied to the applicant, the portion which applies, should be lined out. And a supplementary explanatory statement under oath or affirmation by the applicant should be attached and made a part of this application. So as you can see, this is way more lengthy. Okay, let's look at what they kept as opposed to what they've changed. How can I do that? Let's see. Where'd you go? Where'd you come from? Where'd you go? All right, so you see, if any, okay, so we got that first part is good. Then they're saying, I have not been convicted of a federal or state drug offense or convicted of a statutory sex tourism crime, and I am not the subject of an outstanding federal, state, or local warrant of arrest for a felony. Let's look at that just that far. I have not, since acquiring United States citizenship, nationality. Did it say that? No. No. It does not say any of that. So they changed that. This part, since acquiring United States citizenship, nationality. Okay, so what are you supposed to do? It says, if any of the below mentioned acts or conditions have been performed by or apply to the applicant, the portion which applies should be lined out. Now, I have not. Does this apply since acquiring United States citizenship or nationality? Does that apply to you? Did you acquire United States citizenship and nationality? If the answer to that is no, okay, then leave it. But if it applies to you, then you're supposed to line it out. Because the portion which applies should be lined out. Been naturalized as a citizen of a foreign state. Have you done that? Have you taken an oath or made an affirmation or other formal declaration of allegiance to a foreign state? if that applies, you're supposed to line it out, because you're saying, listen, you're saying you have not. So if you have not done this, then you line it out. That's what it's saying. Look, I have not. Listen, here's the kicker. Since acquiring United States. So you are saying that you have acquired United States citizenship and the nationality, or you become a U.S. national. You're admitting it here. And then they're saying, does any of the rest of it apply to the applicant? So you can read it like this. I have not been naturalized as a citizen of a foreign state. I have not taken an oath or made an affirmation or other formal declaration of allegiance to a foreign state. I have not entered or served in the armed forces of a foreign state. I have not accepted or performed the duties of any office, post, or employment under the government of a foreign state or political subdivision thereof. I have not made a formal renunciation of nationality either in the United States or before a diplomatic or consular officer of the United States in a foreign state, or been convicted by a court or court-martial of competent jurisdiction of committing any act of treason against or attempting by force to overthrow or bearing arms against the United States, or conspiring to overthrow, put down, or to destroy by force the government of the United States. So are you saying you have not done these things? Not only are you saying, that you haven't, but you're saying, well, at least not since I acquired United States citizen. So once I acquired United States citizen, I'm trying to put it in the best way to make it simple and plain. This is what we are saying. This is what you're saying. Okay? That once you became a citizen of the United States or a national of the United States, you have not done any of these events here. That's what you're saying. Now, they said, if any of the below mentioned acts or conditions have been performed by or apply to the applicant, the portion which applies should be lined out. If any of the below mentioned acts or conditions have been performed. So what acts apply? In other words. Okay? So if you don't line any of these out, then you retain United States citizenship and U.S. nationality. Does that make sense? Because if you've done any of these things here, you can look right here. I'll show you. All they're quoting from is 8 U.S.C. Section 1481, talking about loss of nationality. This is what they're quoting from. Loss of nationality by native born or naturalized citizen. Voluntary action. This is something you did voluntarily, and the burden of proof is on you. Okay, so a person who is a national of the United States, see, whether by birth or naturalization, shall lose his nationality by voluntarily performing any of the following acts with the intention of relinquishing United States nationality. Here it is: obtaining naturalization in a foreign state upon his own application or upon an application filed by a duly authorized agent after having attained the age of 18. Taking an oath or making an affirmation or other formal declaration of allegiance to a foreign state or a political subdivision thereof after having attained the age of 18. You see? It's no different. Let me get back to it here. It's the same thing. Take an oath or made an affirmation or formal declaration. So that's all they're quoting from, 8 U.S.C. And the reason why they're asking you this is if you have done these things, then essentially what you've done, let me show you once again, is voluntarily gave up your nationality to the U.S., of the U.S. That's what they're talking about. That's what happened. Okay. What else here? So those are the acts and conditions. Now, if you have done any of these things, you line them out, and then it says that you should add a supplementary explanatory statement under oath, okay, and attach it to this application. Why is that important? Why is that important? Because of the fact that this application is only for U.S. citizens or U.S. nationals. They're the only ones eligible to fill out this form. So, dare I say that if you were issued a U.S. passport or a U.S. card, that they still consider you a U.S. citizen or a national of the United States. Neither one of those are considered foreign to the United States. They are considered U.S. persons, born or naturalized in the United States. I'll prove it to you. Going back. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's see. Paperwork reduction. Now let's look at the application real fast. All right. This is the old one. Let's look at the current one before we move on. So let's go. Let's look at this application. Again, it's the U.S. application. Okay. 2025. So you can select whether you want a U.S. passport book or a U.S. passport card or both, or et cetera, et cetera. Now they look right here. Name, the last, right? That's a legal term of art. I've already established that. I can show you that once again. What's the legal name? Right here. It consists of a first name and last name. So anytime you're filling out one of the legal documents, U.S. legal documents, and they ask you for the last name and then the first name, they're asking you for the legal name. Therefore, they're not talking to a human being or talking about a human being. Only a legal entity. Only a citizen of the United States or a national of the United States. Date of birth, gender, et cetera, right? Social security number. That is a number one telltale sign that they're talking about one of their entities. If they're asking you to put the social security number there, who has a social security number? Let's take a look at something real fast. Let's go back up to the instructions. Look at that line 5 where they're requesting a social security number. Where is it at? Right here. 5, social security number. You must provide a social security number if you have been issued one in accordance with section 6039E of the Internal Revenue Code. If you do not have a social security number, you must enter zeros in this field and submit a statement signed and dated that includes the phrase, I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States of America. Whose laws? The United States of America. That is the corporate. That is the 50 states, the several states in the Union. Those are corporate bodies for commercial purposes. I've gone over this at length. You can find out more information on this under the Articles of Confederation, where the United States of America was born by the intermingling, the intercourse between the original 13 colonies. They came together as one corporate body known and titled as the United States of America. So you're swearing under the laws of that corporate union. Why would you be doing that if you're foreign? You're doing that because this is only for United States citizens and U.S. nationals. That's why you're doing it. And furthermore, you have to submit a Social Security card. It's a must, unless you don't have one. Now, I've heard some people say, well, since I'm claiming to be human, I'm claiming to be foreign to the United States, I'm going to fill out this DS11 form and I'm just going to put zeros there and state that, well, as a human, I've never been issued a Social Security number. You might find yourself in a bit of, I'll just put it this way, between a rock and a hard place once they do a verification of that application, because this is only for United States citizens and nationals. And a United States citizen or national has a Social Security number. Okay? Listen, I have never been issued a Social Security number by the Social Security Administration. If you reside abroad, you must also provide the name of the foreign country where you reside. The U.S. Department of State must provide your Social Security number and foreign residence information to the U.S. Department of Treasury, which will use it in connection with debt collection and check against lists of persons ineligible or potentially ineligible to receive a U.S. passport, among other authorized uses. If you fail to provide the information, we may deny your application, and the Internal Revenue Service may enforce a penalty. Refer all questions on this matter to the nearest IRS office. Now, I want you to pay attention because they're giving you another warning. Look right here. Now, you may have been one that is saying, well, I'm a human, I'm going to use this form to get a U.S. passport or a passport card, and this is going to be my get out of jail free card, etc., etc. You might be one of those individuals, okay? But let me just show you what they're telling you here that you need to be aware of. The U.S. Department of State must provide your Social Security number. They must provide your Social Security number and foreign residence information to the U.S. Department of the Treasury, which will use what? The Social Security number in connection with debt collection and check against lists of persons ineligible or potentially ineligible to receive a U.S. passport. That's what you got to look out for. The U.S. Treasury is going to use that Social Security number for debt collections and to check to see if you are eligible or ineligible to receive a U.S. passport. And then it goes on to even further say, among other uses. I'm just saying. Let's see what else we got here. All right, so I think we're good with the DS11 form. I think I've shown and proven and given warning. All right. So hopefully you take that to heart, but in the end, it's your choice on what you choose to do. Okay. I declare under penalty of perjury all of the following. I am a citizen or non-citizen national of the United States. You are saying this under penalty of perjury. Why won't this highlight? I guess it's frozen, whatever. You're saying this under penalty of perjury. I am a citizen, number one, a U.S. citizen, right? Or, either or, a non-citizen national of the United States, and have not performed any of the acts listed under acts or conditions on page 4 of the instructions of this application, unless explanatory statement is attached. The statements made on the application are true and correct. I have not knowingly and willfully made false statements or included false documents in support of this application. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? All right, let's move forward. I'm going here to Cornell Law. Okay. Do I want to do this? Immigration and Nationality Act. Okay, any person who is not a citizen or national of the United States. Notice they always go hand in hand. You're one or the other. Okay, this is the classification of an alien. If you're not a citizen or national, but over here at the DS11 form that a lot of people are filling out, you're declaring under penalty of perjury you are a citizen or national of the United States. Therefore, you cannot be considered also an alien. Okay? There are different categories of aliens. This is where you're supposed to be at, y'all, if you're claiming to be foreign to the United States. You can't be foreign to the United States and be a citizen of the United States. Come on, y'all. You can't be foreign to the United States and be considered a national of the United States. Come on, y'all. You have to be an alien if you're going to be foreign to the United States. And there are several types of aliens you can choose from. Resident alien, non-resident alien, immigrant and or non-immigrant, asylee, and refugee. You might not want to be here, undocumented. You might not want to be undocumented or illegal, right? Overview. According to the Immigration and Nationality Act, an alien is an individual who does not have U.S. citizenship and is not a U.S. national. The Immigration and Nationality Act defines a national, here you go, for all those that are calling themselves a U.S. national, defines a national of the United States as one who, while not a citizen, owes permanent allegiance to who? The United States. One owes personal allegiance to the United States if that person has taken an oath of naturalization. Did not you just on the DS11 form declare, you're taking under oath, under penalty of perjury, that you are a citizen or national of the United States? Did not you just spend time filling out this application here that it only is for those eligible to use this form, and they tell you who is eligible, U.S. citizens or non-citizen U.S. nationals? Okay. Then the Immigration and Nationality Act defines you as owing permanent allegiance to the United States. Let's go on. Naturalization occurs when an alien applies for citizenship. So an alien, if you are foreign, actually foreign, and you desire to become a citizen, you would have to go through the naturalization process. They must prove a series of eligibility requirements in order for the Bureau of Citizenship and Immigration Services to certify the naturalization request. Without receiving naturalized citizenship, a person can live in the United States for decades without officially becoming a national. For individuals who possess citizenship at one time but later renounce that citizenship, renunciation renders those individuals aliens. So a citizen can become an alien. You might want to rethink your processes. Renouncing one's citizenship requires taking a formal oath of renunciation. After renouncing, such person can either pledge allegiance to another country, or can declare themselves, did you know this? World citizen. One who alleges alienage bears the burden of proving the claim by a clear and satisfactory standard, and the claimant must prove the alienage successfully to initiate a deportation proceeding. To issue a deportation order, the court must find evidence that clearly, unequivocally, and convincingly proves alienage. Okay? So it's not impossible, but it has to be proven. The burden of proof is on the one that is asserting that they are an alien. Now, I would just jump in here real quick and say that according to 8 U.S.C. Section 1481, Revised Statute Section 1999, it states that expatriation is natural and inherent. It's a natural and inherent right of all people. Okay? And so anything that is natural and and inherent needs no permit, needs no license. You don't need permission if it's natural and inherent, which means it would only apply to a human being, right? So a human being does not need to go through a process such as what was conveyed here. Let me go back. For individuals who possess citizenship at one time but later renounce that citizenship, renunciation renders those individuals aliens. Renouncing one's citizenship. Listen, you as a human didn't take on citizenship. The U.S. person, legal person, the separate and distinct legal entity, okay, is the citizen. So that citizen, that separate legal entity, is still in existence. It can't die because it already is dead. It's a corporate person or corporate personhood, right? So if it's going to essentially renounce its citizenship, it has to go through a formal oath of renunciation. Not a human that possesses, natural and inherent rights. You picking up what I'm putting down? Okay. We already went over that. A series of classification exists to describe aliens and their relationships to the United States. In the past, the government used the term resident alien and non-resident alien. You ever see those movies? Resident Alien, I think it's called. They're showing you. You just got to pay attention. So which one are you? A resident alien? Which one would you like to be? Because based on the evidence that I'm providing here, it seems to me that the DS11 is not where I want to be. Because if I'm not claiming to be a U.S. citizen or a U.S. national, then I am ineligible to fill out that form. And if I'm filling out that form and trying to claim something in opposition to the oath and affirmation that's made upon signing that document under perjury, on threat of perjury, I may find myself in a bit of trouble once they do the verification process. All right. So let's talk about where we might want to be if you are professing or declaring to be foreign. You may want to be either one of these, either a resident alien or a non-resident alien. But the government has replaced these terms with, here it is, immigrant. So that would be the resident alien as an immigrant, and a non-resident alien is now considered a non-immigrant. Some aliens also receive refugee or asylee status. Okay, so here it is, rights, privileges, and duties of aliens. Legal immigrants enjoy the opportunity to reside within the United States without having obtained U.S. citizenship. While they have no legal or constitutional rights to remain within the country, they may stay provided that the government renews their visas at the expiration of the previous visa. In return for the U.S. granting temporary residence, listen, these aliens here's the obligation, here's the duty. In return, it's a quid pro quo. The U.S. grants you a temporary residence in the U.S., so then you owe something now. Temporary allegiance. It's all about allegiance to the United States. Listen, temporary allegiance involves obeying all U.S. laws while within the U.S. Implied consent to U.S. court jurisdiction for alleged violation of tort and commercial laws, and submission to the court system's power of subpoena. While aliens may face suit under tort or commercial laws, they also possess the right to sue. Despite the obligations that fall under temporary allegiance, the law affords aliens many of the rights that U.S. citizens possess. Yeah, because guess what? If you owe allegiance, then they have to also afford you the certain privileges and benefits. It's a quid pro quo, this for that. Aliens have the right to gain employment, no doubt. And states cannot use discriminatory methods to protect local jobs from the state citizen or for state citizens at the expense of aliens. Furthermore, employers cannot deprive aliens of the federal and state mandatory minimum wages. Aliens also receive treatment very similar to the treatment that U.S. citizens receive in the context of the judicial system. For instance, the 5th and 14th Amendments of the United States Constitution apply to aliens residing within the United States. As such, the courts guarantee aliens the right to due process of law and equal protections of the law. Okay, moving on. Congress has the preeminent power in terms of passing statutes that regulate immigration and alienage. Consequently, the United States Constitution enables Congress to delineate the rights, duties, and liabilities that accompany legal immigration status. I wanted to go into the non-immigrant status. Let's see if they go over it here. These obligations include, okay, to confer additional rights on aliens with their respect. Okay. See, they don't go into the non, but we let's go there. Let's see if we can find it. Here it is. We're at Homeland Security. They're going to tell us about the non-immigrant classes of admission. Okay, here it is. Let me blow it up for you. This is where you might want to be. Your choice, your decision, right? You might want to be, because if you're considered an immigrant, quite clearly they state that you are going to be held to a lot of the same standards as a U.S. citizen, okay? And you're going to subsequently, because they allow you a temporary residence here in the United States or under the United States government, that you're going to owe a subsequent duty, an obligation, okay? Let's go back. But as far as the non-immigrant classes of admission, non-immigrants are foreign nationals. Sounding good already. Admitted temporarily to the United States within classes of admission that are defined in Section 101A.15 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, the INA. Examples of non-immigrant classes of admission include foreign government officials. Okay, that might be a little hard to prove, right, in our particular demographic. How about this? Temporary visitors for business and pleasure. Do you ever use commerce? Do you participate in commerce? Do you enjoy entrepreneurship? Do you like selling things, creating things? Do you have a Pinterest account? Do you have a Craigslist? In other words, do you participate in U.S. business? Of course you do. So maybe you want to use the non-immigrant class election, right? as a foreign national, not a U.S. national, a foreign national, so that you can have a temporary visitor's pass in the realm of commerce. And then, of course, you like to go to movies, right? You like to do those things here on, here where we're at. So you like to enjoy some pleasure. You like to go out to eat, patronize businesses and what have you, right? Go to the baseball game, basketball, football. So that's looking good. Temporary visitor for business and pleasure. Also, non-immigrant classes are aliens in transit. How about treaty traders and investors? How about academic and vocational students? Are you a student of legal administration and procedure? Are you a student in any form or fashion and would like to use that, as a foreign national here in the U.S.? Or how about a temporary worker? Exchange visitors? How about athlete or entertainer? Victim of, and certain family members of U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents, right? So you might have some family members that are stuck in that United States citizen status, right? So you're just you're a family member. One of these, you might be this foreign national who has family members that are U.S. citizens. So you're here temporarily to visit in and out of the United States. You picking up what I'm putting down? Unlike people granted LPR, I forget what this is, permanent resident status or green card status, who may live in the United States essentially without restrictions, non-immigrants are authorized to enter the country for specific purposes. They listed the purposes here: business and pleasure, alien and transit, treaty traders and investors, academic and vocational students, right? They listed the purpose. Non-immigrants, duration of stay in lawful activities, such as employment, travel, and accompaniment by dependents, are prescribed by their class of admission. So depending on the class that you choose to participate here in the U.S. Will determine the length of your stay or participation, is what they're saying. Your duration of stay and lawful activities. Okay? All right, so just throwing that at you. Okay? Let's look at this. Are you a U.S. citizen or a U.S. national? Let's see what they have to say about this. U.S. citizen versus U.S. national differences. So we can clear it all up, y'all. I don't want anybody getting hurt. I don't want anybody misinformed. I want you to leave here knowing exactly what it is you need to do and where you need to go and who you need to be. Okay? That's what KnowledgeWell is all about. Okay? If you like just to garner lots of information, you like to, just overload on information, hey, kudos, more power to you. But you know where to come when you need to sort through it and make sure you're doing the correct thing. That's KnowledgeWell Media. That's what we do. So, U.S. citizen versus U.S. national differences. We are at the UnitedStatesImmigration.org, okay? Citizenship identifies, what does it do? It identifies an individual's country of origin. Citizenship identifies an individual's country of origin. It tells who you belong to. They may as well just put it out there. I don't know why they're beating around the bush. Citizenship identifies or proves you are the same as who is making a claim to you as their chattel, basically. United States citizenship, whose citizenship, see, who do you belong to, can be defined as a status that entails specific rights, duties, and benefits. What's the point of citizenship? It identifies who you are and who you belong to and the status that you have. Because once they determine which status you fit in, they know exactly the rights, duties, and benefits that are assigned to your particular status. That's what citizenship is. Okay? It has nothing to do with inherent or natural rights and liberties. Nothing to do with it. These are rights that are given to you from the master, from the God, from the Lord. And that would be, in the case of United States citizenship, the United States, that government. U.S. citizens owe. How do you owe? How does a U.S. citizen owe? They are in debt to, is what they are saying. They owe their allegiance to the United States and are entitled to its protection because it is a quid pro quo once again. That's a United States citizen. That is United States citizenship. Most people have only one country of citizenship, but some can have dual citizenship. U.S. citizens can be native born, foreign born, look at this, or naturalized. Let me read that again. U.S. citizens can be native born, foreign born, meaning you were born abroad, but you're still under the cusp, under the grasp of this United States, even though you were born abroad. Or naturalized. You applied for citizenship and were granted it, naturalized. Listen, United States citizens include those who have obtained birthright citizenship or citizenship through naturalization. Let me read that one more time, and then I'm going to really run it home. Look. U.S. citizens include those who have obtained birthright citizenship or citizenship through naturalization. People acquire citizenship by birth if they are, look at how they make bold this term. Why do you think they're doing that? Because it is a legal term. You need to look deeper, is what they're saying. They're putting emphasis on it, like birthright citizenship or native born, foreign born, because it means more than what meets the eye, is what they're letting you know. All the highlights that are through here mean pay extra attention because it's not the conventional meaning. U.S. citizens can be native born, foreign born, or naturalized. Listen, U.S. citizens include those who have obtained birthright citizenship. You know what birthright citizenship is? Let me show you. The legal name over here at the Social Security Administration website, right? Palms Manual. The legal name gives you power to sign legal documents, deeds, or contracts. Okay? And the legal name is actually put on the birth certificate, the U.S. birth certificate, and the U.S. birth certificate is the evidence and proof that one possesses the legal name. And the only ones that have the legal name are U.S. born persons. And how did that happen? They tell you that this is something that is given to you. It's not something that you are naturally born with. How do we know that? Because the Social Security Administration is instructing their employees to do what? To translate your natural God-given names, the name that your mother gave you upon your natural birth, translate it, meaning turn it into a different language, a language of legalese, and turn it into the first, or translate it into the first and last name. Why? Because the first and last name are what a legal name consists of. The legal name is your power, your capacity to enter into commerce. What is the U.S. and the several states all about? The several states are all wanting to trade and involve in intercourse in commerce. And they simply made a centralized government to regulate, to keep everybody honest and keep everybody fair. No monopolies. Everybody is equal under the law. Equal protections of the law. So they instituted a centralized government in order to keep everyone, all the players in the realm of commerce, keep them all equal, one currency. Do you see? You picking up what I'm putting down? That's what it's all about. So every player receives a legal name to contract with. And you have to take on the citizenship in order to play the game. If you do not have the citizenship, you cannot have the legal name. If you are not a national of the U.S., you cannot have the legal name because you're not eligible to play. What did Dred Scott establish? What did Justice Taney deliberate? He said that, Dred Scott, you were not written into the Constitution. You are not a party to it. Therefore, you cannot sue in our federal courts. Sorry. You just weren't part of the club. Your people were not made part of the club. This was the us for and no more clique. The founding fathers. They didn't have any Negro children as far as I know. So they didn't write the Negro into the Constitution. All right, moving on. Where were we? Moving forward. Is this good? Give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're supporting. Let me show you how you can do that. Look across the bottom there. See that scrolling right there? $2, $5, $20. No amount's too small. If you appreciate this information, make sure that you support, show your love. All right? I'm clearing up all the disinformation for you. We're at 1 hour and 12 minutes. We'll go a little bit more. I may have to do a part 2 if this gets super lengthy. All right, let's get back. Clearing up and dispelling the myths. Again, people acquire citizenship by birth if they are born in the United States. Well, a U.S. born person, right? Because they became a citizen. And when you incorporate into the United States, that is the act of incorporation. And what does the act of incorporation do? Let's take a look. Act of incorporation. What does it cause? There's something that happens. You don't just incorporate for no reason. I like Investopedia right here. Articles of Confederation. No, but I want act of incorporation. Where are you at? Here it is. Investopedia. Watch this. I like to prove what I'm telling you. What is incorporation? What is the act of incorporation? Incorporation is the legal process. See, who's running the game? Used to do what? Form a corporate entity. There's how you created a separate entity from yourself. This is how you created a separate company from your human self. When you incorporated, when you joined as a national or a citizen, you incorporated. And what did you do? What happens once you incorporated? You form a corporate entity. Look, a corporation is the resulting legal entity that separates the firm's assets and income from its owners and investors. So when you incorporated, you formed a new corporate entity, which in effect, that corporation now separates its assets from yours as the owner investor. That's what went down or up, whichever way you choose to look at it. So people acquire citizenship by birth if they are born in the United States or born to U.S. citizen parents. The term U.S. national now, let's hear, because we've been hearing a lot about this. We want to clear up this one too. The term U.S. national and U.S. citizen are often used synonymously, when in fact they are different terms with two different meanings. Look, first, it is essential to understand the concept that all U.S. citizens, look, are U.S. nationals. But not all U.S. nationals are U.S. citizens. All citizens are U.S. nationals, but not all U.S. nationals are U.S. citizens. Oh, you might say, well, there it is. There it is. That's great. That's where I want to be. See, I can choose whether I'm a United States citizen. I could just be a U.S. national, qualify, and not qualify as a citizen, right? Oh, you think you're out of the woods. Okay, let's keep going. Only a relatively small number of individuals acquire, look, U.S. nationality without becoming U.S. citizens. Uh-oh, only a small number. I wonder, are you in that number if you're claiming to be a U.S. national? Watch this. A U.S. national is any person who has the irrevocable right to reside in the territory of the United States without limitation. You could be here anytime. Remember, they talked about since you are granted residency, then you're going to owe an obligation and a duty to the United States. You still owe an obligation and a duty. This definition includes citizens, and all U.S. citizens are also U.S. nationals. However, the term U.S. national also covers a relatively small number of people who have the unlimited right to reside in the United States, but who are not citizens. You feel like that's you. The term does not include green card holders, there's that LPR, lawful permanent residents, okay? Let's see. Anyone born in the unincorporated territories of Puerto Rico, starting in 1917, U.S. Virgin Islands, starting in 1927, or Guam, 1950, is also a U.S. citizen. Someone born in the unincorporated territories of American Samoa or Swains Island, however, is not a U.S. citizen by right of territorial birth, not a U.S. citizen by right of territorial birth, but is a U.S. national. Individuals born in Guam between 1898 and 1950, in Puerto Rico between 1898 and 1917, in the U.S. Virgin Islands between 1917 and 1927, or in the Philippines between 1898 and 1946, would also be a U.S. national, but not a U.S. citizen, unless citizenship was inherited from his or her parents. Are you a U.S. national? Are you a U.S. national, a U.S. citizen, or both? The only significant, listen, y'all, let's clear up the myth. Here it is. The only significant difference between a U.S. citizen and a non-citizen U.S. national are that a non-citizen U.S. national may not vote in federal elections or hold any federal elected office. They have the same rights to live in the United States as citizens do. And this right is irrevocable, unlike a green card holder. A U.S. national also has the right to a U.S. passport. We've already established that, didn't we? Huh? Yeah. Why is that? Do you remember? Look. U.S. nationals are also entitled to the consular protection of the U.S. when abroad, and the right to apply for citizenship by naturalization after just 3 months of residency. U.S. citizenship is not granted automatically to natives of American Samoa and the Swains. However, natives from Puerto Rico, the Marianas, Guam and the northern Mariana Island, and the U.S. Virgin Islands do automatically acquire U.S. citizenship. Citizenship can be seen as both a status and an ideal. This is how you should look at it, y'all. It's a status. That's all. A particular condition, state of being, and an ideal. All persons born or naturalized, there's your national, in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. That's from the 14th Amendment. That's it, y'all. All persons born or naturalized. Persons born being those who have taken on citizenship or who are nationals of the United States. Okay? And subject. See, you're still subject, even as a national, to the jurisdiction of the United States. Unless you're a foreign national who has the status of a non-immigrant, alien. Okay? So hopefully that'll clear things up for you. Let me see if I have anything else for you before we get out of here. Nationals or here. Let's just take a look at this here. I want you. So certain of the move to make after this. Okay. Nationals or permanent residents of the United States. Here we're at the what is this? Diplomatic immunity they're talking about. This is also to address people who are saying because they got the passport card or the U.S. passport or whatever, and they attached, of course, the explanatory statement and what have you, that now I have a diplomatic status that provides me immunity. I'm outside of the jurisdiction of the United States, and you don't have jurisdiction over me type of argument. So if I didn't dispel that already through the Ds11 form and breaking that down, because it only applies, again, to U.S. nationals or United States citizens, okay? And both of those owe allegiance to the United States, okay? There is no diplomatic immunity, as you're going to see right here, all right? So nationals or permanent residents of the United States, okay? The general rules set forth previously assume that the staff members of the diplomatic missions are nationals of the sending country or some third country. The United States, as a matter of policy, does not normally accept as diplomatic agents its own nationals. No. Legal permanent residents of the United States or others who are permanently resident in the United States. No. No. Okay? No. The family members of diplomatic agents enjoy no privileges or immunities if they are nationals of the United States. Okay? Let me read it again. The family members of diplomatic agents enjoy no privileges or immunities if they are nationals of the United States. So if a diplomat, let me just hit it home for you. If a diplomat, this is one who is recognized by the State Department as a diplomat. If their families, enjoy no privileges or immunities if they are nationals of the United States, do you really believe that you, as calling yourself a United States national, will enjoy immunity? Moving on. Members of the administrative and technical staff, including their families, and members of the service staff enjoy no privileges and immunities if they are U.S. nationals. It's not looking good for U.S. nationals. Legal permanent residents or foreign nationals permanently resident in the United States. Okay? Let me just read that again. I didn't read that correctly. Members of the administrative and technical staff and members of the service staff enjoy no privileges and immunities if they are U.S. nationals, legal permanent residents, or even foreign nationals permanently resident in the United States, y'all. So even foreign nationals that have permanent residence in the United States enjoy no privileges and immunities. All right, so police officers should not, watch this, police officers should not have to deal with this distinction since the U.S. Department of State issues identification cards. See the following discussion. With the nationality principle in mind. However, it is important for law enforcement officials to understand these principles generally, because they could confront a situation wherein a U.S. citizen, spouse of a foreign national diplomatic agent, attempts to establish his or her immunity solely on the basis of proving a relationship with the diplomatic agent. Even their wives, a diplomatic agent's wife, does not have immunity. All right? So you can read on. I'm definitely going to delve deeper into it. But I just wanted to hit you with that. I know it's hard. I know it's tight, but it's right. Okay? Citizenship identifies, we're at the U.S. immigration again. Citizenship identifies an individual's country of origin. I think we already went over this. Yeah, we went over that. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. All right. I just wanted to drop that on you. I know it's heavy. I know there's a lot of information and disinformation that has been put out there. Probably not intentional. Okay. We're all kind of learning. You know, we're trying to figure this thing out. But one thing we don't want to end up doing is hurting ourselves, hurting our family, having our liberties tarnished, shattering our character, etc., etc. Now, there are ways to deal with this. There are ways to deal with this. I am researching, I'm studying on this. I do have a process, and I'm definitely willing to talk with you at length about it. You can definitely come over here for a consultation. And the way to do that is to hit me up at KnowledgeWell, the number 4, the letter U, at gmail.com. And we can talk over your specific issues, your specific, everybody has a different situation going on. That's why you don't necessarily, consultations are very vital and very important. All right. Your particular plan for you and your family should be particular to your individual needs. There should not be a blanket template that you should be following per se. With understanding, with proper understanding and context in what I'm saying. Okay, don't get lumped in. You are an individual. Okay, for one, and your family has individual needs. So do not get lumped in. Okay, too many are going down. All people, you know, in one group, in one demographic, are all falling at the same time. Everybody's trying to copy and copy and copy. No one's being original. And so we definitely want to change that here at KnowledgeWell Media. Hopefully you appreciate. If you do appreciate, you see it scrolling across the bottom. You can hit us up at the Cash App. I'll put that up for you. Did I do that? No, I didn't. Here's the Cash App. So $ American Consulate. If you need assistance in walking through this, if you've perhaps been subject to some misinformation, disinformation, please take advantage and support KnowledgeWell Media. All right, $ American Consulate. That's how you do it. Okay, so I hope this helps. I hope this clears things up for you. All right, I don't want anybody hurt. I don't want anybody end up in jail. Soon they will be checking and verifying these things, because best believe there are a ton of applications flooding into the immigration office in the State Department. And the only way to curb that, the only way to deal with that, is to start to vet people and do it more diligently, and start to hold people accountable. They're going to start finding people. And so that's how many of you know that's a form of income, you know, for the tax man and for the State Department. it is those fines. Okay. And they're probably going to be pretty hefty. All right. So I want you to be informed. I want you to apply the things that you learn. And so make sure that you support us so that we can keep doing this, dispelling the information and misinformation. All right. That's what we do here. All right. Appreciate you. And now you've been made free. The question is, what are you going to do with it? We'll see you right here. Don't forget, every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, we do a live. Okay. Look down in the description of this video and others for more information, more details, and more in the links to peruse through the information that we have here. Also, don't forget to visit the Square site. All right, right there. Okay, and there you can get products, videos, and other goodies that only you can get here. That you can only get here, I should say. All right, including those T-shirts. Pick yourself up one. All right, if you really love what we do here and you want to support, that's a great way to get something in return. Okay. And there's videos. You can go through the library of videos there for yourself and for your family and for your needs. Okay. And lastly, go over to the Patreon and you can get the inside information. Usually this type of video here I would post over at the Patreon, but I thought that it was so important to keep people from going down the wrong pathways of misinformation and disinformation, that this was too important of a warning, sounding the alarm, and necessary to safeguard against inflicting harm upon yourself and your family. Okay, so this was too important. So I did not make this proprietary. I'm putting this in the public as a warning. Do with it what you will. All right. So, but if you want the inside information, usually the hard-hitting information we try to put over here exclusively for our members, $15, $30, $50, and $100 memberships over at the Patreon, exclusive. If you appreciate what we do here and you like it, you love it, and you want more of it, this is how you do it. Patreon. KnowledgeWell for you. Go look at it. All right, with that being said, I am now going to take off and get back to my research and study. We got a lot of brilliant things on the horizon, and you can take part. You can be part. Hit us up. If you got any questions, knowledgewell4u@gmail.com. The number 4, the letter U at gmail.com. Knowledgewell, one word, 4, the number 4, the letter U at gmail.com. Until next time, we'll see you. All right, thank you. And now you've been made free. Question is, what are you going to do with it? We'll see you shortly.